Lederman, and this is my book talk for Snow Crash by Neal Stephenson. Honestly, I was a little disappointed with this book. I went in with pretty high expectations, and it just didn't meet them. Maybe I would like it better on a reread if I were able to read it in one go, because originally I read it while I was at work, while it was slow over the course of like 2 weeks, so I read it in bits and pieces, and I just couldn't get absorbed into the story all that well. So the main plot of this book, it follows this guy, Hero, who essentially he works for the mob and he messes up a job for them, and this girl, YT, kind of steps in and saves his bacon. And then the book from there, it follows both of them as they start figuring out the main mystery of the novel, and that's this sort of virtual virus that is being developed by a cult, and they have to stop the virus from being released into the virtual world and affecting everyone in there. And it ties into Sumerian and early Christian mythology. Supposedly the virus is what's responsible for the Tower of Babel event. Now, if you're not familiar with the Babel story, a bunch of people were building a tower that was going to reach to the heavens, and God got offended. He made it so that they all spoke different languages and they couldn't communicate, and so the tower wasn't built. And this modern virus today, how it works, basically it destroys the language center of your brain. Basically renders you a comatose vegetable. Now, I chose to read Snow Crash because from the description, from the back of the book, and from online, it reminded me a lot of Ready Player One and American Gods. Those are both books that I really enjoyed, and it kind of reminded me of those with the virtual reality world and the mention of mythology, so I was really interested. But when I got to actually reading it, though, there's a lot of world building that you have to kind of bog through. Like, there's a lot of slang, and there's a lot of background, I guess, like, details. Like, you get the sense that there was some kind of ecological or economic disaster, and that's how it affected societies where it's run by these corporations now. So I really got fixated on that, and I couldn't get past that because it doesn't really explain it all that well. So it's like, why did that happen? So I got distracted by that. Another thing, a huge chunks of the book, are taken up by conversations between Hero and this kind of librarian database AI, where they discuss. The librarian brings up research, and the Hero says, "Oh, this is what that means," and blah blah blah. And it's just a ton of exposition, which again, it takes me out of the story, and it really feels like it was just awkwardly inserted. Doesn't really fit in the plot organically. Overall, Snow Crash was an okay read. I just couldn't get into it. Neal Stephenson, he wrote this in 1992, and I just feel like it's been 25, 26 years. It doesn't really stand up that well today. Kind of like how you see sci-fi shows and movies from the 60s and the 80s, and they've got these special effects that were really groundbreaking in their time, but today we just kind of cringe. And I get that same kind of feel from Snow Crash, where it doesn't really stand up all that well.